Hello guys, now let's quickly check out how do we look up from multiple inputs and return multiple return values as well. So what I'm going to use in this combination of functions that I'm going to use is index function that we already are aware of, new function that is small function that I will quickly introduce to you. It is quite straightforward, but the way we will use it will definitely make you think it twice. And then there we have a row function that we are going to use. It is also a new one and I will quickly explain it to you how it works. And now we will combine these three functions together to attain or achieve our objective. So now first of all, let me explain you how the small function works. So if I have a set of data over here, now remember what I did is 1 2, and now I'm going to autofill the list till 10, and over here I will use my small function. Over here it asks me to select an array. I will select this list as my array and comma k. Now k is nothing but the kth smallest number of the list. Say if I type 1, so what I'm asking for is, in the selected above range or list, return me the first smallest number, means the smallest number, and that is 1. What if I make this 11? So the smallest number will be now 2. So now what I'm going to ask it is, return me the second smallest number. So first smallest number is 2, second smallest number is 3, so it will return me 3. Now moving on to our row function. It was quite straightforward, I believe, but believe me, in the later on in this video, when I will use this again, it will make you think twice. Now moving on to the row function. I didn't mean to scare you there, but over here now to row function, what it is it is basically selecting or activating the rows of your worksheet. It is used for that in the back end of the program, but for now we are going to use it to return the row number. So if you didn't understand that well, no problem. It is not meant to be understood at now or at this stage. So what I will do is, you saw that if I would have typed simply 1 and autofilled the list, it would have filled 1 in every row. But over here what happened when I autofilled it, it got 1 2 3 4 increasing. So what I have over here in the formula bar is, if I highlight this, what I get is entire row 1 getting highlighted. So what I'm doing is nothing but referencing to row 1. So it is row 1, and when I move down, it's row 2 colon 2. So it is nothing but referencing to entire row 2 and returning the row number. So this function does, what it does is, it references a certain set of rows and returns the row number. So quite straightforward. So moving on to our small function, and now I'm going to use if statement inside a small function. So first I will type it out. I hope you will try your best to understand, but if there is a lot of chance actually that you won't get it. So I will explain it again after I'm done typing. So what I will do is, first of all I will copy this over here so that I have something to look at, and then over here I will apply my small function, small, and now it is asking me for array. So before array, what I'm going to do this time, as usual you would have entered array, but now I'm going to enter if statement, if function. I will quickly transfer myself to the formula bar so it is comfortable for me and you all. And now I'm going to select this range. I will make the reference absolute because I'm going to use this formula along a lot of cells. And now I want, if this is equal to this, again I will make it absolute reference. By now you should be clearly aware of how to toggle between the reference stylings. And now moving on to, if this statement is true, what I want is row. Again I'm going to select this and make the reference absolute. I hope this is bothering you at the moment, but that's fine, believe me, it bothers everyone. Now what I have done is, I'm now out of my if statement conditioning, and now I'm back at the small function argument, and over here this is what I'm entering as the value of k. K is nothing but the kth smallest in the list, if you remember that or recall that. So moving on to row, what I'm going to do, 1 colon 1, I'm going to close the brackets. Now it says you have entered the k value over here, and now I will close the bracket of small, so I'm out of my small function and enter. So it gave me an error That was clearly intentional, because you should always press Ctrl Shift Enter while dealing with array functions. Now it gives me 4, and now you will observe that when I extend it down it gives me 10, and I extend it down it gives me error. Now we will later on do something to deal with this error, but what I will do is right now be there from here. So what this function is returning me, this function is returning me the match Devesh and the row number of the Devesh. There was the first Devesh, it returned me the first Devesh where it found it 4, and then it again found it at row number 10. So you might be aware that previously we were using match function in index to get the row number of index function, right? Now we will use this function to get the row numbers, it's plural, of the index function. So before going or shifting on to the index function, I will explain this function to make sure that you all understand what is happening over here. Now what is this doing? Row 1 comma 1. See, it's row 1 comma 1 over here, and when I go down, you remember, if I go down, if I extend it down, what happens is it becomes row 2 comma 2, 2 colon 2. So over here it was row 1 colon 1, and when I extend it down it becomes row 2 colon 2. So what it is doing is, this is the first argument of smallest, so this is a list or an array, and it is asking over here to return the second smallest element of this array, and over here it is asking to return the smallest array of the list over here. Okay, so what it is doing is return me the first smallest element, return me the second smallest element. First smallest element somehow is this Devesh roll number, this Devesh row number, and over here second smallest element is somehow this Devesh row number. And how is that somehow happening? It's over here. If this range has this cell, so if this range has Devesh, if this range over here has this value anywhere, so what I want is, I want you to return me the row of this. So it will return me the row. So basically what I am doing is I am making my own list over here, since this is an array function, and what I am doing is my first list over here contains, when I have this, I look for Devesh in this range, I find Devesh, so what I do, I make a list of 4, okay, and then I move on and I find another Devesh in the range. So what I do, I again note down the row number and I make the list. So over here, what this function is returning me is a list which contains the row number 4 comma 10, and this is asking it to return me the smallest of the list over here. This is our list 4 comma 10, and the smallest is 4, and then second smallest is 10. That is how we are working. And since this list contains only 2 numbers, when I'm asking it to return me the third smallest number, it says you are asking for the third smallest number, but the list contains only 2 numbers. How can I return you the third smallest number? So error. So we will deal with that later. But now what I will do is quickly delete. What I will do is I will copy this. Okay guys, now we have a function that returns us a list of row numbers that are corresponding to the matches we have found. Now we can use that in our index function. So over here what I will do is apply my index function, and the range will be this over here. I will make the reference absolute, and before I move on, I want to quickly explain you something, that in this range what our function is returning the absolute row number, that is the row number with respect to the sheet. Like Devesh is found in the 4th row, not with respect to this range, with respect to sheet. And if we use this 4 in this range, what it will return me the 4th element of this range, that is AdiTOSH, and we don't want that. So what I will do is I will quickly subtract the 3 rows, since we are starting from 3 rows below. What I will do is subtract 3 rows from my small function that will return me the row number. So Control V, now we are in the row number argument, Control V to paste this small function argument which will return me a list of row numbers, and what I will do is subtract 3 from each row number that it is returning me, so that I get back to in scale with respect to my range. And moving on to the column number, let's say 1, and enter. Oops, Control Shift Enter is that what you must enter. Control Shift Enter, and it is Devesh, and if I extend it down there is another Devesh, and if I extend it down there is an error. So let's just make it till here. So what it is doing is, this Devesh and this Devesh might look same, but these are actually not. What is the difference is, this Devesh is from row 4 and this Devesh is from here. This is from Rajpali, this is from Sharma. We will quickly make that clear in a moment. What I will do over here is make it 2. So it says Rajpali and it says Sharma. So you can clearly see that now we are having a nice array working over here, and what I can do is change every over here. I will make it 3 and Control Shift, oops, I pressed Alt, Control Shift Enter. So now it gives me the full name, and apply it to both of them. It gives me the full name of this, and now I will apply the column number over here as 4, and it gives me the grade, and I apply it to this as well. Over here it is giving me, it should give me the 5th column, which is the gender, and moving on here it should give me the class name, class of the student. So it's the 6th column, and luckily it's 6th standard as well, and over here it's 10th standard. Moving on to here, I want it to be 7. Remember guys, always press Control Shift Enter, don't press Enter, it will give you an error. Apply it to both the, and we have 2008 year and 2020 year. So these data sets are entirely different. What I will do is, now let's see what happens when I change the name here. If I type AdiTOSH, you can see that the data changed, but here over here what we are getting is this dirty looking error on our worksheet. So what I want to do is to some way to eliminate this with a blank. So what we are going to do is, we are going to apply if over here, if statement to deal with this kind of error. So there is a new function that we are going to use, and it's called if error. So if there is error, what I want is, after this comma here, you can see the argument as it describes if error value. If error is at, means if there is error, you have to enter the value what to display on error as the second argument. So what I want over here is nothing. You are supposed to press Control Shift Enter, and now you can apply this to all this, and I will quickly apply this to, okay guys, now I have applied if error to all the cells, and now what I will do is extend this to down over here, and now you can see the magic, and it's phenomenal. Devesh is it. Enter. Now we have a 2 list of entries. Then moving on to Aditya, and we have 3 list of entries. All the data is changing. It's so beautiful over here. And Ashutosh, it's only 1. It should be 1, and it's 1. Ayush, it's 1. Devesh, it's 2. So this is how you return multiple return values using lookup function. We mixed index function with if function, which we combined if error function with index function, which also contains small function and row function. So now you are really dealing in Excel some real stuff, and it is the true power of lookup functions.